Nintendo is out here making waves again. From our boy Steven Totillo went ahead and found some stuff. He says, new, there's a key change in the updated Nintendo account agreement. Users must accept to keep using the eShop and play downloaded games. If you mod your Switch, get around DRM, use unauthorized copies of games, etc., they may brick your Switch. That's real wild. Let's read the rest and then God, leave me alone. What the fuck do you want from me? All right. Says Nintendo warns it may brick Switch systems whose users bypass, modify, decrypt, defeat, tamper with their games and services. The Mario Maker just updated its user agreements to also warn of potential service discontinuations and to acknowledge how it may monitor Switch users' online chats. Okay. This email hit my inbox at 11:39 p.m. Not quite my favorite time for reading things that could use a magnifying glass. There are exceptions. Updates to Nintendo account user agreement and Nintendo privacy policy. It was time for me to click some links and squint. Good thing I looked. Nintendo has made quite a few edits to the two main agreements it has with its customers. Some are quite timely, seemingly in response to recent legal changes and challenges. Some of them are, let's say, very consistent with Nintendo's clear concern these days. Most of the changes, just over 100 edits by my count. Yo, Steven Totillo got some time.
Mm-hmm.
That's real wild. Were made to the Nintendo account user agreement, a digital document that people click on. Okay, great. These services include the Switch's eShop. Okay, great. For users who don't play games off cartridges and instead play their Mario, Zeldas, and Animal Crossings via copies they pay to download, Nintendo account agreement covers pretty much the sum total of using the Switch. 3 bigger changes also caught my eye. First, the most strongly worded change from Nintendo amid their swath of updates is a major expansion of the company's long-standing warning to the gamers it seems most frustrated with these days. Those who hack or modify its consoles and games, run emulators, and in Nintendo's assessment, foment piracy. Okay, so first of all, before I read this thing, the fact again, and we're going to have to get into this idea because people are crying about they don't own their games and blah, 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 blah. But bro, to like hardware is a fucking is a crazy leap.
Yep.
To say that if I buy a console, they still own it and I can't do what I want with my console. That's real wild. Now you may say you can't access our online network from your modded console or your console that you did whatever with.
That's a different situation.
But to say that if I take the console that you charge money for and I purchase it with my money and I own it, it's mine in my hand. You're telling me that if I decided I wanted to do something to it for my purposes that won't affect any online gaming because I'm not going to, clearly you're going to stop me from using this online, that you have the right to destroy my property and make it not workable?
Thank you. That costs
$450. Like, are you sick in the head to tell me that I bought this physical thing that I have?
And it's not just mine to do whatever I want with it. I think, I think this is just another reason why,
So, but I'm pretty.
I made the right decision.
Both of the others do this.
Well, but that would make no sense because on Xbox, you've seen plenty modded Xboxes. People have done crazy.
If they detect it, they will kill your account.
Kill your account is different than destroy your console, bro. They're bricking the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
That's what. Well,
what are they bricking?
They're killing the.
They just wouldn't let you access the account services online, right? Like, what are they going to actually do?
Let's read it. Let's see what they say. So, Nintendo's old user agreement, effective since April 2021, said you are not allowed to lease, rent, sublicense, publish, copy, modify, adapt, translate, reverse engineer, decompile, or disassemble all or any portion of the Nintendo account services without Nintendo's written consent or unless otherwise expressly permitted by applicable law. Here's the new, way more intense version, complete with the potential punishment of your Switch being bricked by Nintendo. New parts bolded by me. Without limitation, you agree that you may not publish, copy, modify, reverse, engineer, lease, rent, decompile, disassemble, distribute, offer for sale, or create derivative works of any portion of the Nintendo account services. B, bypass, modify, decrypt, defeat, tamper with, or otherwise circumvent any of the functions or protections of the Nintendo account services, including through the use of any hardware or software that would cause the Nintendo account services to operate other than in accordance with its documentation and intended use. C, obtain, install, or use any unauthorized copies of Nintendo account services. Or D, exploit the Nintendo account services in any manner other than to use them in accordance with the applicable documentation and intended use in each case without Nintendo's written consent or express authorization, or unless otherwise expressly permitted by applicable law. You acknowledge that if you fail to comply with the foregoing restrictions, Nintendo may render the Nintendo account services and or the applicable Nintendo device permanently unusable in whole or in part. So in whole or in part, permanently unusable.
Yeah, we don't know what that necessarily means, but yeah, I guess that's the big question. Like, will it not boot, or is it like
permanently
hey,
unusable?
You have to log in at boot or something like that? Like, I don't know, right? So I'm not sure. If, like maybe the new one basically.
So just so you know, I had a brick
Nintendo.
I had a brick Nintendo that got bricked, and it didn't work. You can't do anything. Just power. It doesn't.
Well, but that's like a physical hardware issue, right? Or did like Nintendo brick your console?
I don't know. But when I hear them say that Nintendo, they're gonna make it permanently unusable, I don't know what other language that can be. There's English, like in English.
Yeah, I'm trying to like compare that to an equivalent, right? So, like for instance, it may require you to log in, and if you can't log in, then you're out. You know what I mean? If that's what that means, right? So I'm not sure what that specific word is. So it might be the same on the others. I'm not sure. So like if you go into your Xbox and hack it and they detect it, they will kill the ability for you to log in, right? But what is it? Because if I unplug the network cable, can I still log in? Probably, but I'm not sure what happens. Yeah, but I'm not sure if the console remembers that, right?
Like Nintendo, by like default, is not something that's going to be necessarily just plugged in, right? Like it's going to be the device on its own is a device meant to not be plugged in. So
yeah, and that's the same with the other ones, right? The same with Xbox and PlayStation. You can disconnect and do whatever you want, but once you connect it to the network and they see it, that's when they will do shit to you, right? So I guess I don't know if this is all that different, but maybe it is. I don't know, right? So they're just.
I mean, I'm just saying. I feel like Steven Totillo would have went ahead and did a deep dive and said Xbox does this and PlayStation does this, so this is not a big deal, right? And I feel like for him to specifically point out Nintendo, who essentially is like the fucking golden child of consoles, to make it a big deal to point that out. I feel like, I mean, just the language alone is real wild.
You know it is pretty like,
like that's real wild. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, listen, I guess if you go ahead and never log in to the internet, and you just right from that moment you buy the Switch, never log in the internet, never log into an account, and just immediately start modding this thing to just work as a handheld because you have the ability to do that, and it works playing whatever you want to play, then sure, maybe you don't have to worry about that because you're never going to go online. But if you use the console and then go online and then go ahead and try to mod this thing, I just feel like the fact, like, it's one thing to tell me, yo, if I catch you doing something, then you're not going to be allowed to play with our players and you're not going to be able to experience this stuff in the online world. But to tell me that if I take my device and do whatever I want to do to it, and then you're telling me that you're just going to send a signal to
a bad signal,
like send a signal to my device to kill
I don't think that's what they're saying here. I think what they're saying is you won't be able to run anything because you won't be able to log in anymore, right? And that's kind of the thing. And so they could potentially just do that.
You're not going to be able to use it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
effectively, yes, but it's
dead.
not like they like did a kill switch to kill it or something like that. It's just that you're
you
not
can't
gonna be able
use
to do
the
anything because it's
Switch
software
to
locked.
play the games, then it's dead.
I mean, it says,
and the worst part about these things is like if you buy a lot of digital games and your Nintendo account is locked out of you've just lost all those games, right? That's one of the downsides.
And that might they may
stores.
just delete your account in general. So even if you go buy another Switch that's not modded, try to log in, it's like, no, dog, we caught you.
No. I think it's going to be locked permanently. I think that's what they're saying here.
Yeah, exactly. So, but also look at the next words, Hargeet. I think the next words kind of answer your question, right? Permanently unusable in whole or in part. So they might do the in part, but the fact that there's even the whole present in the verbiage is the shit where, I mean, if you're signing a piece of paper that said, listen, if you do something wrong, we might send you to jail or kill you. Like,
I think that's it falls into the same freaking situation. You know like that's just a chance no one's willing to take. I wouldn't be willing to take.
Powerball says it might delete the OS.
That's a possibility, but I doubt it. I doubt they would do that much. But yeah, maybe that is an option. I don't know. I'm just trying to see if this is similar wording to what the other ones have. I'd love to see the I can go look it up. I can see what Xbox has and what PlayStation says.
What other thing can you buy that if you own it, you bought it, you took it home, and you did something to it? Aside from like cheating, right? Again, obviously you could ban the account from going online, right? Okay. That's one thing. But aside from that, what else can you fucking buy that somebody be like, oh, you didn't use it right, sir? Delete.
Thank you. Sappho, right here. And this exactly, I agree with you 100%.
Big facts.
Hold on, my mouse is not working. I can click it. Hold on. There we go.
The biggest problem is who decides. They can see a blip and completely brick your console and lock you out of your library.
Exactly.
Like, are they saying? I don't see anywhere here that they're going to say we're going to have a discussion.
Yeah, let's talk back and forth and see where we end up with this.
I mean, and I agree. Go ahead, Doodle. Sorry.
No, it's just the idea of giving your money to go ahead and buy a Nintendo Switch, and then it's under terms whether you've crossed a line or not. I mean, once I've spent my money and it's mine, I can do whatever the hell I want to it. And if I choose to do something that's out there, it's still my console. I understand maybe the whole account thing, but like, if these are my games and I pay for my games and this is my console, I can do whatever the fuck I want with it, whether that is to toss it out the window, whatever it is.
Yeah. Look, this is a problem across the board. You could get your Steam account locked. Suddenly you lost your entire Steam library. This stuff happens, unfortunately. And I think this is an area that we do actually need good regulation. Unfortunately, I'm not a happy person with regulations all the time, but I think this is an area we need it. And digital libraries is a major problem, like inheritance. I don't know if that's even something that you can do, right? You guys have bought a whole bunch of games, right? Your kids, should they be able to take them, like inherit them, right? That's a thing that is really just out in the ether. We don't have a good answer to it, right? So that needs to happen across the board. There should be some way for you to, beyond just the company, get like a legal recourse to say, yo, I bought like $3,000 worth of stuff and you locked my account on some, thing that you came up with, right? And I don't think I've done anything wrong. And even if I have, what's my penalty so I can get my shit back, right? There's just got to be some legal recourse, right, that you can have. And it's not just them, right? And if this is just them, I'd say, yeah, this is just stupid. But I think this is across the board. We need better laws to help us with this problem, right? Xbox should not be able to do this to you
by the way, I think this is being highlighted because it's a different situation. Also, how much are you going to spend legally going back and forth with them more than what you're fighting for? I mean, so this is where the problem comes in. Is it worth fighting about, or are you just...
It becomes a headache, doesn't it, right?
But I think the bigger thing is, but I think the bigger thing, and I agree with what you're saying, Hargeet, 100%, because I didn't really even think about, if you were to pass away and you have all these games and like it's your account, but like my kids don't get to just have my games, like just like anything else.
Yeah, exactly. Like here's a death certificate. This is my father or mother or whatever, and I would like to have the password or reset it or something, whatever, right?
Right. So that is a good thing to talk about. But I think what makes this unique, Hergy, and you could tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that, again, the biggest problem here is not the account. It's the literal device being permanently unusable.
Yeah, the wording is similar for the other ones. I don't know if it says exactly that, but it will basically make your device somewhat inoperable.
But if Xbox says, okay, your account is blocked, okay, no problem. I'll go make another account and I'll buy another game.
No. They do that to the device too. They will do that to your device. If it's modded, they will lock your device too. So you can't get updates. You're done. That device is blocked. There's a similar thing if somebody steals a PlayStation or an Xbox. They can go on the back end and say that device will never come online. It will never have anything. It will be blocked from every game. So they can do that. They can brick your box. That absolutely happens. So, this is across the board. And you should have something where you can say, hey, wait a minute, I need a legal recourse. I have this thing. I did it officially, or whatever it is, right? Make your case instead of the company just decides. I agree with what, whoever it was it Sappho was who decides? That's right. Because some idiot could decide something I don't like. And then what if they just don't like you? What if that just happens? Like, no, you need to have a recourse. And, within a company, what is that recourse? There's none. You're screwed. Right. So I think there needs to be legal recourse. I agree that it's costly. I get that, but it is what it is.
I think Sappho has a pretty good point over here, though. So you don't have to mod an Xbox. They have a debug mode on their console.
Yeah.
So you can literally do it as part of.
But they can do that.
So I think I feel like they would have said, just like Xbox and PlayStation, Nintendo, it's also. I feel like it would have been presented in that way if it's something that it's linked, especially if it's something that Xbox does to go ahead and right away take off a little bit of heat from Nintendo, try to make it seem more of a normal situation. And honestly, I'm not looking to go ahead and do any illegal bullshit or whatever the heck they find to be unacceptable. But I also don't like people telling me what the fuck to do with my stuff. So this is the money that I've spent, right?
Yeah, so this, by the way, I don't. Sorry, like back in like a while ago, back when cars were fully done by the manufacturer, and then if you tried to say I wanted to have different wheels, they would say, we void your warranty. You would no longer. It's like, what?
Right.
So these were laws that had to be written to say, no, customers can change things, and that does not void the warranty, right? So, that is probably what similarly this, if somebody were to push back, that's what would need to happen here, right? To say like, hey, there's certain things that people should be able to do that you can't just in whole decide you get to say no and destroy everything. But again, unfortunately, this will come to regulations, right? It's I don't see a better way around it. Like now, I agree that this is a problem, but
voiding your warranty and, like you mentioned, a car, right? If you start messing with it and something is affected because of some changes that you made, that's a whole different thing. But saying that it's just going to be like, we're going to penalize you for going ahead and making decisions on something that you own, that's a separate thing. I should not be held to a warranty if you decided to start messing with something and you break something else. That is a consequence of something you did, not work that I put into your car or whatever item we're talking about, right? This is a whole different situation. They're not saying if your Switch is broken because of a decision you made. They're saying if you do this, we're going to do that.
I just feel like this is a great conversation to be had, because this is something that never we never talk about things like this, and I think this is like very important for to bring awareness to everybody, and hopefully our voices can be heard. I mean, this is like stuff that affect us.
Okay, hold on, I have the answer. So as far as Xbox is concerned, Microsoft's Xbox Live terms of service prohibit unauthorized modification, including running pirated games or tampering with firmware. If detected, Microsoft may issue a permanent ban from Xbox Live, revoke access to purchase games, or disable online functionality. There's no evidence that Microsoft can or does remotely brick consoles for modding. Bricking typically results from user error or malicious mods, not deliberate action by Microsoft.
Yeah.
See, that's a consequence of a decision that you made to do something that affected your console, right? Other than if you do this to your console that you purchased, we are going to determine whether your console lives or dies.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, understanding crazy. Not letting them log into like the online account, you lose your games, you lose all that shit. That I understand, but your console, like to say your console's dead now, that is crazy.
And this is where physical copies come in handy, right? They can't just shut down your stuff.
I mean, maybe if it's stolen, maybe they have like a special backend thing that they'll do.
Yeah, they'll block it. It'll be dead.
And just to be clear, it looks like same shit for Sony. If detected, Sony may issue a permanent ban on the console or PlayStation account, blocking online play, digital purchases, or access to PN services. And there's no evidence that Sony can or does remotely brick modded consoles. So, I mean, unlike Microsoft, Sony's firmware updates sometimes include anti-modding patches, which could cause issues on jailbroken consoles, e.g. boot loops, but these are not deliberate bricking attempts. So it looks like
it seems like you have the most
Nintendo
freedom
is the
with.
one that is literally coming out here saying, if you go ahead and do this, you can possibly have your Nintendo permanently unusable in whole or in part. The device itself, that's the biggest fucking problem here, is the fact that they want to go after the thing you bought hardware wise. We already know that all the games you buy are licenses, right? So you're getting a license just like you have a driver's license, right? You have a license to drive your car, but if you do something wrong, they take away your license, you're fucked. Same thing here, right? The license will get taken by Xbox. The license might get taken by PlayStation. You can't go online. You can't use all the shit you spent money on for licenses, but your hardware is your hardware. Nintendo is literally coming out here saying all these things, do something bad that we find not okay, and we can, not saying they guaranteed will, but they have, what you're agreeing to here is that they can go ahead and take your Nintendo device permanently and make it permanently unusable in whole or in part. That sounds wild to me. That sounds really wild to me. That's some dark shit for Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
Like with kids, playing this shit, they want to have this terms in here. Like what? Some grown up is like, you know what? I want to mod this so I could play some of my old shit. Like, who the fuck cares? They just be glad they bought your console.
Right?
Like, why are you being a bitch? You know what I'm saying? Like, don't be a bitch.
This is like selling you sushi and telling you like you can only eat them with the sticks. Like if you don't know how to use the sticks, like you have to know how to. Yeah, it's just like it's a bad move, man. Let's just keep it real. This is bad, and like I said, this needs to be discussed. And like Hargit already mentioned, there should be regulation when it comes to this, like of some sort. Instead of like paying attention to whether Xbox or Microsoft buy a publisher or makes a game exclusive, this is the actual shit that they should be like paying attention to. That's just how I feel. And that's what the way it should be. So I mean, this is just crazy. They really believe they are the shit, right? They really believe so. What can I, at this point? I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that Nintendo is doing something so low, right? Because this is like extremely low. And they decided to get this console salesman. They breaking shit. People buy it again. Breaking shit. But people buy it again. They bind your account. Buy it again. And this is like some crazy shit. This blows my mind. It just makes me wonder. Wow, I do really need to to read the fine print when I buy
Right?
something. Like, this is crazy. Oh
And
my god.
again, we're not talking about a cheap hobby, right? This is people are spending money. So for you to still not have any control over it, right? That's a bit wild, man. It's a bit wild.
Well, let's hope that people don't get the chip brick. That's all. But well, if you're a Nintendo fan, like you had it coming, you can't really complain about this shit.
Right?
You already paid $450 to get in and $80 a game, bro. It's pretty raw for you, so you might be okay with this. Like yeah, you might be fine with buying another one. You wouldn't mind, right?
Listen, Nintendo is getting a bit crazy out here. We thought, like you said, the console prices and the $80 a game, that was a bit far. But now they're like, the amiibos, the accessories.
Right.
That was a bit much.
No,
And now they're just taking other stands with the situation. And it's like, what are we doing here? What are you guys so afraid of? I feel like this comes off a little desperate at the same time to me.
Right.
They're really trying to, it's almost as if they feel like that, like if they don't have much control over certain things and they're trying to really grab onto things and see what they can go ahead and control out there. It seems a little desperate to me to go ahead and feel like they have to put this out and they need to do this. We know that they went ahead with Power World and try to sue them.
Right.
And
I was gonna mention that.
Yeah, like they're it's getting a bit
Dark.
out there. Like you're
It's really
Nintendo.
dark.
Yeah.
Man, they actually won the Power World, right? Devs to actually Power World, the devs, they communicated right to the people that they were gonna make some changes within the game when it comes to the mechanics on how you use your paws, and they also are gonna remove the ability for you to glide with your paw as a result of Nintendo's lawsuit. This is ugly, guys. Like I feel like Nintendo's being the bad guy this one time around. They literally being dicks. Like straight up. Come on, like really? Like you so scared of Power World because they did something similar? First off, like these patents in video games makes no freaking sense. So imagine making a patent of me because I'm able to jump or something. Like who tells you that you own something like that? Like such a general mechanic in gaming, and they sort of like doing little shit like this to protect others from attempting to do something similar, which I mean I agree to an extent, but then at the same time, like how are people supposed to even work? Like you next thing you know, like you're restricting these developers more and more over something that, look, Power is nowhere near what Pokemon is. So this is like I don't know what analogy can I come out with, but this is like they really afraid. Like you said, dude, I feel like they are kind of scared. And it makes me feel like they don't really have the the self-esteem, right?
The
confidence to I don't know, to be themselves, right? And they have to like, oh my god, we have to make sure nobody can do like this and we can do.
Annoyed.
We gotta make so like, wow, like they can use our console outside of our ecosystem. They cannot try to play around with the console and see what tech is inside and type of shit. Like they saw like, like you ain't shit, bro. Like you that shit that ain't nothing innovative about that console. It said the little weird ass mouse thingy that they did, and I thought it was kind of cool, but It looks kind of goofy. Anyways, let's move on from Nintendo. I think I kind of hate talking about Nintendo now, and I hate this even more. It's like disgusting, honestly.
They just keep on stacking. It's like they're counting their pennies, and they're afraid that anyone can potentially take away what makes them. So,
I mean, obviously, this is to try to foil emulation, right? They don't want anybody to hack it, get the emulation out, and be able to play these games. You have your hand up?
They're afraid because they know they're losing the kids. The kids are not liking Nintendo anymore, and they're targeting the only people who buy Nintendo consoles now, which are adults.
Yeah.
The only people who have desire to buy these consoles now in large mass are the grown-ups that grew up with it, and they're targeting them, and they're afraid that the grown-ups are not going to buy their consoles because they're so stuck in nostalgia that they not that they won't buy their consoles, that they won't buy the games for the console because they know that some of these adults just want to experience the Nintendo games forever. This is the
fear that they have right now, that people are upset about those new prices for these games, and they're going to find a way around it. I mean, if the ways around it exist.
So I wish there were like a hit on them that would actually make them change their ways, but the Switch 2 is selling out. It's going to be the largest freaking console launch period.
They're crushing. This is the thing. Look, Nintendo, we know Nintendo. The one thing about Nintendo is that they'll give it one shot and then they'll pivot. So the Wii came out, crushed it. Wii U shit the bed. So what do? They pivoted, right? Switch crushed it. Switch 2, let's be clear. Selling out is great. Selling out does not equal mass success for them right now.
Didn't the Wii U sell out?
Yeah, the Wii U sold out in the beginning.
I don't know how much but right now they're on track to have more at launch sales than the Wii U's entire generation.
Yeah, which would be
Wii U
fine.
Did not do well. So
no, so
it was
it's about
13,
longevity
I think,
for Nintendo.
was Wii U something like the 13 million, I think. 14 million, yeah. The current estimate is that like it's already at like 18.
Yeah.
For
so if
launch.
they do that, that'll be fucking fire. But the question is, did they shoot their load? Right? Are the vast majority of people front loading it? Exactly, right? We won't know until the years go on. Now, I would assume that they will. I would assume that they're going to grab a large portion of the 100 million people or whatever that have Switch 2s and have them upgrade to. I'm sorry, that have Switches and have them upgrade to a Switch 2.
Yeah.
The question is how many people do that, and then what does that mean for a part 3, right? Because again, if you see Switch 1, you're at this level. Then at Switch 2, you go by years, and does it reach that level or does it not reach that level? And then if it doesn't,
I don't think it's going to reach Switch 1. I doubt it's going to hit that.
Probably not. But what does that mean for Nintendo? Right? What do they?
Is it time to pivot, like you said, CMoney, or
you know, it really comes down to the games. If their games cost too much and they don't get it back, then it'll be a problem, right? And unfortunately, because they're stuck to their hardware, we don't get that Unreal Engine 5 level quality for their games, which kind of sucks. I wish they would go that far. That would be really awesome. But unfortunately, we're not there. So they could surprise us. Maybe they'll do that. Maybe they will do something that crazy and it'll run, reasonably well in the Switch 2. We'll see, right? They got that. What was it? The Dusk something, whatever the Bloodborne equivalent was.
Dustborn or whatever, Dust Blood.
Yeah,
or some
whatever that's called.
Let's
that's
see
UE, I think, right? That one's Unreal
over there. Hey, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Bayonetta 2, right? They went ahead, they had Bayonetta 1 out in the world, did great. Then they said, okay, we'll buy Bayonetta 2 and bring it to the world. And, they also did part 3. It's like, what did they do? Not much, right? So let's see what this other thing does.